Pop quiz, hotshot. You're cruising around in a zombie apocalypse and you see one dead head in the middle of the road. What do you do? So, with all the changes in Alpha 21, they've made it now so that when you run into a zombie with a vehicle, it has a higher likely chance of just straight up killing the zombie versus like last time they just kind of bounce off and do a little bit of damage. But it does a lot more damage to the vehicle itself. So, we're going to be testing out the four main vehicles in the game: the bicycle, the mini bike, the motorcycle, and the 4x4. I'm not going to bother testing the gyrocopter. How many people can fly that low to where they're running in zombies? Alright, so here's how I'm going to test this one here. I've got my regular bicycle. It's fully buffed up and ready to go, as in fully repaired. We've got Sylvia over here, a low-level zombie sitting at 106 life. We've got Bo, who's a little bit more of a medium-level zombie at 151, and Frank is a big hoss at 324. So we can see we're going to run the bike full speed into all three of these individually and see how much damage we can get to each one of them to see if it scales up or if each individual zombie takes different kinds of damage here to see what's going on. So the first one is Sylvia. Full speed with Sylvia, and I would say that that definitely affected her negatively. She completely lost her head. And as far as the bike goes, we took about 180 damage on the bike. It's not terrible. All right, test number 2 on Bo. That was a nice, good, clean, square hit going full speed on the bike. Let's see how much damage that did to him. Wow, that did a decent chunk. Did about 90, about 90 damage total. We're just rounding here for simplicity's sakes. Did about 90 damage to him, which wouldn't be enough to kill Sylvia, but he's a little bit of a thicker zombie. And as far as our bike goes, we did about 230 damage on the bike. So not terrible for one zombie. Not too terrible right there. All right, Frank, here we come, man. Hope you're ready for us. He didn't sound like he's too happy about that. All right, so Frank took about 50 damage. Yeah, about 45 damage, actually. Between 40 and 50. So he didn't take nearly as much as he did, but he's got a little bit more padding down there. And our bike took about 220. So it definitely took a little bit more than when we ran into him than it did to run into him, but not terrible. All right, well, let's reset and try it out with the mini bike. All right, mini bike is geared up and ready to go. We've got just regular speed here, not using turbo or anything. We're going to try it out with Sylvia. Okay, so it doesn't look like she... Okay, so she died. She just straight up died. We were barely moving on there. She lost a leg. She's just not having a good day at all. Let's see how the bike fared. That one did about 62 damage. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. So let's see what happens if we're going full speed and we run into Bo here. Okay, so that was enough to kill him as well. He lost a leg on that one too. That's nice. How much did our bike take? About 320. So it took a lot more damage running into him than it did running into Sylvia, which makes sense. You know, he's a little bit bigger. Full speed, straight into Frank. You got this? That did sound painful. So the bike took 234. So it didn't take that much more damage. It only did 60 damage to him. So it seems like, at least with the bigger guy, the trend so far is that it does less damage to the bike and less damage to the zombie than the previous test with the smaller one. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Alright, I guess we'll see if that continues when we try it with the motorcycle. Alright, full motorcycle ready to go. Let's try it out here. We're going to go full bore right into Sylvia here. And just as I expected, she can't handle it. She's not meant for being run over with vehicles, that's for sure. And the motorcycle took about 260 damage. Not too bad. 260 for running over her. I believe he is a nice powdered mist in the air too. Yep, so he's dead. And that one did about 260. So it looks like it did about the same amount of damage running into both zombies here. Or relatively close to it. It's not too bad for the motorcycle. I mean, you'd think the motorcycle could take a pretty good hit considering it's a slightly bigger framed vehicle. It's got the large spikes on the front of it. But I want to see how much damage it can do against Frank versus like the mini bike and the bicycle. This should be able to do a whole lot of damage to him, but we'll see how much it gets. Oh, that did a decent chunk. Check that out. That put him down to almost dead. That almost killed him with the full motorcycle. But how much damage did it do to the bike? Still not too bad. That one did about 350, so it definitely did a chunk running into old Chunky Boy here. But this time it did more damage to the bike than it did in the previous test. The last two times it did more damage on the second one than the third zombie. This time he did more damage overall, but he is bigger, motorcycle's bigger, so I guess that kind of makes sense. All right, let's test out the big boy. All right, I kind of don't even feel bad about this. There's no chance she's going to survive. Oh, that was just violent. That was just a full pile of mist in the air, man. Sylvia, I'm really sorry. You've had not a good day. Let's see. The 4x4 took almost 400 damage, though. So considering this is a smaller level zombie and the 4x4 doesn't actually go much faster, if at all any faster than the motorcycle, for it to take 400 damage against a small zombie is not great. It's not wonderful, but let's test it out with the medium zombie, same distance here, and see if we get any kind of different results from the medium zombie. So almost 400 damage for Sylvia. Let's see what Bo does for us here. Another beautiful mist. Looks like it did almost 400 damage to that one too. So again, we're seeing that it seems like the smaller and the medium level zombies, it does about the same amount of damage to both of those. Straight up just killed them. Just obliterates them there. So let's swing back around and hit old Chunky Butt here at full speed and see if we can't take him out. I have to assume that we can. But I want to see how much damage it does to the truck. Yep, he is a huge pile as well. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run over you after I blew you up. Alright, so he's nice and obliterated. Did about almost 400 damage on that one too. So, at least with the 4x4, it seems to be doing the same amount of damage regardless of which size zombie you run into. But it's definitely able to kill most of the zombies. Alright, so we got a line of cops. We got Frank, we got Big Mom, we got Bo, and we got Gary. The biggest zombies that are in the game, not counting the demolition zombie. We'll worry about him later. These are the ones that have the most amount of life for all the regular zombies you encounter on a non-horde night. So we're going to run over them with our 4x4 and see if how many of them we can kill, and if our vehicle will take any damage at all. Well, of course it's going to take damage. To see how much damage it can take. Let's see if we can get over the entire group without wrecking this thing. Let's see how many of them got it. Okay, so Carl won. He didn't like that. How are you? Okay, so you were into the line. All the other zombies died. Frank, he was near the back of the line too, so he took a decent chunk of damage. Let's see, Gary's wrecked. Big Mama's out. Let's see, Bo he's had better days. Carl, he's all over the place. But this cop in the very end is still doing okay. Now, our vehicle itself still took about 800 damage. So since we were doing about, what, 300-400 damage for one zombie, we weren't getting 300-400 damage for each zombie, so that's not terrible. The numbers are not going to be exact on every single one of them, so it's not like this zombie is going to do this damage to this vehicle every single time. This test is to kind of give you an overview as to how much damage the different zombies do, different vehicles, different speeds on average. Because you can straight up kill zombies, but you can see we've run over a small little grouping. We haven't run anything to do anything to our damage, and we're down about 1,500 durability. So here's the last thing we're going to do. We've got a group of 25 radiated bikers of varying degrees of difficulty based on how the game spawns them in. We have a brand new fully beefed up 4x4 ready to go. We're going to see which one survives the longest, our 4x4 or this group of zombies here. Now, I'm leaving their AI off so they stay nice and stationary, because them running around in circles is definitely not going to help me out. Let's go full bore and see how many of these we can take out. Just a couple more hits and this thing is going to be absolutely obliterated. I mean, you can see we're almost dead. We're almost dead in the water. This is not something that you could use. And there you have it. It is broken. You can just barely move when it's broken. So I'm just trying to get over here so we can see if there's any cosmetic damage. Nope, not a single ding other than just the engine is smoking. You did good. Ish. I mean, there's still a whole lot of zombies standing here, so I'm not sure how good you actually did, but props to you, sir. So I guess that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video was at least kind of entertaining / educational. Let you guys know, yes, you can kill zombies with vehicles. Yes, you take a lot more damage doing it. And that's pretty much it. Smaller zombies, you don't seem like I have anything to worry about. Medium-sized zombies, kind of just depends on the vehicle. Larger zombies, maybe if they're in a group, you should probably go around. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, leave a like on it. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.